Hey, what's up? This is Dilio, and this is my review of the Behringer RD-8 drum sequencer. You probably won't be able to see the whole thing, but you'll see enough as far as what it does. And I really like this. I really like this platform because it gives you a full size experience with this. It gives you a full size drum machine experience. Of course, if you want to experience the real thing, you're going to be dropping. I don't know how much those things are now, but the original TR-808 was released in the early '80s, and it's a staple today. However, they Roland did do a reissue of it, and I do have to mention that because we live in a world where we have multiple. I mean, if there's one overdone drum machine in the whole world, it's probably the TR-808. Like everybody's done it. I'm a fan of the drum machine, and I've always wanted to play one. Actually, I had the opportunity to play on one back at Full Sail, but they're just so hard to come by now unless you got some money in the bank. But it's still a fun drum machine. Just honorable mention, there is the Roland. You can see the size difference between the Behringer version and the Roland version. And if you want me to do a review of this one, let me know. I will hook it up and get it to make some noise. I mean, you look at that. You can see that how they did it different. You got the white buttons over here. You got but this one looks more true to original, but this one is a fully analog device. So let's listen to the sounds. So you got the kick drum. You can turn up that decay on the kick drum. Change the pitch of it. So it's going to hit. Got the snare, toms. Got the clap, clave, cowbell. And that's what I like about this is that Behringer actually redid the analog circuitry to that. Roland does the ACB circuit modeling, but I guess it's cheaper. I don't know why. I don't know why. But this is fun. It doesn't look like the original, but at least I feel like for me, it's easier on the hands. But it's still like I got this because it was 808. So I'm guilty. I got two drum machines that do the same doggone thing. It's very important to understand the fundamental of it. This is the fundamental trap music right here. So what I'm going to do is just show you how you can lay tracks down on here. You got to have the record armed. I'm on a pattern. I hit play. And as you can see, this is kind of like what FL Studio was. Right? So I like this. You can tactily push the buttons. Right? And then you can add different sounds. So if I hit snare drum, I can go. Or and boom, you already got a drum right there. And if I want to add a kick drum, I can do that. Right? So and you can keep messing with it. And you get 16 steps, but if you want to extend it to 32 steps, you can, right? So what I'll do is I'll hold down length, and then and it does an instant pattern copy, so 16 automatically becomes 32. And now I can cycle between the two. So you see how it says 16 and then 32 right there. So the red represents the 16 you're looking at, and then the white represents the part of the sequence that you're on. So I can go back that, and do something like this. And I can add different patterns. So like boom. And I can just add different stuff there. So let's hear how that open hi-hat works with this. So I'm going to take these and we're going to add that open hi-hat right there. Let's turn that decay on that open hi-hat. There, see that? And you're getting classic TR-808 sounds, all happening in real time off an analog device. This type of sequencing it just makes you think differently, because with this you can add substeps in there. We're going to get to that. So let's add a crash cymbal. Then so right there. So on that second part, right? So I can double that right there. So I'm going to double that. So now 32 becomes 64, because 32 and 32 is 64. So obviously what you want to do is add a crash cymbal. So we're going to let that crash cymbal hit on the first of the first 16 like this. And I think it's just fun to work with. It's tight. There's that crash cymbal on there. There's no touchscreen. You have to physically engage with your equipment. That's something that we've lost working with computers. You know, computers are just more powerful, but I think you lose that experience of just working with a device like this, right? So you could also trigger different sounds. So right here we got the cowbell. I'm going to just tap right there to trigger, so you can trigger it while it's recording and add more to it. So, you know, I can go right there. Let's see if it picked it up. There it is. Add a clap to it. Right? And so what you also got is the rim shot. So you got these note repeats right here. And it's locking it in. So let's look at the substeps. I mean, there's a lot of different things on here. So you can synchronize it to MIDI, USB, or an external clock. You can do flam. So let's listen to what flam does. We're going to put that on the first 16. So I'm going to go to settings, flam, and I'm going to select the snare drum, and I'm going to put that right there. Hear that? Hear that different thing right there? Let's do it again. If I did it right. Sometimes it can get a little confusing. And so I added flam on those snares there, and you can adjust how fast or how wide or how close together the flam hits are by adjusting the flam, right? Which is really cool. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of trap hatting by doing fast hats. So in order to do that, we're going to do a sub step on these notes right here. So I'm going to go to settings, repeat, and it's going to ratchet right there. So we're going to go right here. Let's let it come back. Let's hear what happens. It was almost there. I think I missed it. Sometimes it's easy to get kind of lost while I'm talking. There we go. So and I can just, because I know I got closed hats all over the place, and I can just add. So now you're hearing that. Hear that hi-hat ratcheting now? Hear those fat hats in there? And that's what happens, because now you can turn one step and repeat it 2 times in that one step, 4 times, or 8 times in that step. You can come out of there, hitting setting twice. And now you can just add right there. So that's the RD-8. It's not really too much to go into. I mean, you got all the sounds. They're all analog. Oh, and there's one more thing, the Wave Designer. Let's listen to how that sounds, and then we'll get out of here. So we don't have to record anymore. We're going to use the Wave Designer, and when you hit select, it's going to kind of drag out the sounds a little bit. So for example, if I hit it on the bass drum. Now it's starting to kind of add a little attitude to it. Let's mute the hi-hats. It gets more noisy. If I want to come out of there, take them out. Yeah. It's a fun device. I like it when I want to just do something different than click notes on FL Studio or press pads on MPC. You can control this from MIDI or make this a MIDI controller and send stuff to. Either way you want to do it. I think it's a win. If I were to pick between the two of these, I would pick the RD-8 only because the size factor. It's not as authentic. It's not as authentic looking. It's not an actual genuine Roden product. But just for me to re-experience the size factor. Yeah, we got the sound, we got the knobs, but just that size factor. And just having something there where I don't have to kind of like get that knob, you know. I mean, boom. You know, you can do songs with this. You can do songs with this. Definitely this one's more authentic. But again, and also I think this one's a little bit cheaper too, and it's fully analog. And oh yeah, on the back there are separate analog outputs for every voice, just like the original. The only way you're going to get separate outputs on this device is if you go USB, which turns it into an audio interface. So there are some things this can do that can't do, and vice versa. But I just like the experience of this. It's not looking like this. I mean, look at this thing. It looks good. But that size factor is just wow. Like, wow, this is a drum machine. This is a drum machine too, but this makes me feel like I'm in the 80s. All right, I'm out. You're watching DLO TDK. I'll see you later.